What about the healing? What up? What up? What up? So, to my day ones, yep, my day ones, my new subscribers, and if you clicked here if you clicked here for the first time, welcome. I'm honored to all of you, and I love you. All right. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So, the question that I ask God is what this is the question. What is God trying to tell you right now at the present moment? See, right now God is moving. God is not only is God moving, God is sending us the remnant, the light workers, and just anybody. You don't have to be a light worker or anything like that to get a message from God, but God is sending those messages specifically to light workers. I was getting ready to say psychics and spiritualists, because to get the message out, because God is sending encouraging words. God is sending encouragement, inspiration, motivation, but we're missing it because we are being bombarded with so much negativity. The news constantly bombarding us with negativity, um, things that's happening to our federal government. You know, all constantly, every day. It's constantly. It never ends. And so God is still who God is. God is on the throne and lifted up. Um, it never changes who God is because we're going through certain things, right? But to answer the question, what is God trying, the message that God is trying to get to the collective? So I got the word shame. And what I get from that is I'm getting that somebody had lost their job and they don't know how they're going to make it. Somebody is on furlough, or they're not working, they're not receiving a check. They will receive one later, but right now they miss a check and they don't know, they behind and they don't know how they gonna make it. Somebody didn't receive their food stamps, somebody didn't receive their cash benefits, somebody didn't receive medical care. And at this point, you're feeling low, you're feeling down, you're feeling like things are not going to change and things are definitely not in your favor and going in your favor. And this shame is coming from a place of not being able to provide, because in most cases those scenarios are from single mothers, single fathers, or families who, military families who, or this could be anybody, the elderly, this could be anybody, a young, this could be somebody that's just single, don't have any kids, but still, in a low place that they can't provide for themselves, which the feeling of not being able to, having the shame to ask, shame to need to ask, the shame of not being able to provide, not having enough money, not having enough savings, not being able to survive. And so God is trying to tell you to come out of that. Now, when I said that, like, they're being human, that is a human emotion. But what have I have always taught on my channel is that it says emotional turmoil and sickness. See, if you don't change, let me go back. What I've always said on this channel is that when you are at your lowest, you feel your lowest, you feel like giving up and losing hope, don't. Because hope is all you got. Faith is all you got. If you give in to fear, you get, because that's what this is. It's fear. Fear that you're not going to make it. Fear that you're going to be homeless. Fear that I am homeless and I'm not going to be able to survive. I'm never going to be able to get out of the situation I'm in. But that's what fear does. It keeps you trapped in the mental state of lack. What do you have to lose to come out of that and have faith? You already are at a low place. You already at a point where you feel shame. You already at a point where you don't feel like you can provide, or you're not protected, or you're not in a space where you're ever going to recover. But with faith, with you're believing in something outside of yourself, outside of what you can see. You're believing in something that's going to give you hope and inspire you to keep going each day. In spite of whatever it is that you go through. When you have faith, you have something to go on. You have something to hold on to. You have something that takes you higher. But when you have fear, you're stuck in a low, low place. You never feel like you can recover when you're in fear. You never come out of being fear. You have sickness here. So if you constantly keep being fearful, then the next step is sickness. Sickness that you won't recover from. Sickness in the mind, depression, suicidal tendencies. Not supposed to say that. Oh well. Emotional turmoil that you can't recover from. Chaos. See, when you down and you're in fear, you attract all these other things onto you, which makes you sick. Whether it's mental or physical. But with faith, it takes you higher. Level to level, faith to faith. You only need enough faith as a mustard seed. A mustard seed is very small. You start small and you grow. Every day you say a scripture. Every day you say affirmations. Every day. And when you saying it, you believe it. And you believe it just a little bit. And then the next day you believe it a little bit more. And then the next day you believe it a little bit more. And then you believe it. You can't tell me. You can't tell me that faith won't bring you out of a situation. I've been there so many times. And so, whatever is getting ready to happen, because something is getting ready to happen, but whatever is getting ready to happen, I know what I got to do. I'm not telling you nothing that I am not getting ready to do. I'm not saying nothing that I don't put on my own self. that I don't expect from my own self. So we getting ready to do this together. Sadness, being emotional. Can't nobody tell you how to feel. However, what I will say is this. Feel your sadness. Go ahead and be emotional. Scream, holler, do what you do. But don't stay in that. You do what you do because we're human. And we live in a human experience. And in living a human experience, we have all these feelings and emotions, and we have to feel these feelings and emotions, but don't stay there. You have a place that you're supposed to be, which is faith. Whatever you see, faith. Whatever you got to deal with, faith. Whatever you got to conquer, faith. And the sickness, the shame, you have nothing to be shameful about. Nothing. Just because you can't provide right now, just because you're having a hard time right now, does not mean that that's where you're going to always be. We all are going to have to start over at some point. We all going to have to start over doing something. We all going to have to start over in some shape, form, or fashion. Some people got to start over first. Some people, it's going to be, you're going to have to start over next year. Some people, you might be fortunate enough to have a year, and then you have to start over. But we all are going to have to go through something. You are never alone, and it's not just you. But it is you that's going to have to make a decision on how you're going to carry this situation. You have to look for the signs that God is showing you. Stop being so negative and looking for the negative, looking for everything that, and look for what God is trying to show you. What your angels is trying to show you, that they're there. They're there with you. Don't go that way, go this way. Don't think that way, think this way. Come out of that stinking thinking, and this is the truth. Tell yourself the truth. God is speaking, but are you listening? Are you listening, or are you just receiving the negativity and in emotional turmoil because you keep focusing on what's negative and you're not balancing things out with things that's happening positive? Because there are things that's happening positive, but you can't find it unless you go look for it. There's things that's happening. There's things around you. There's things that you are doing. There's things that you can see within your own environment that's positive. It's up to you to find them. And lift your mood and lift your vibration. Spend more time in prayer. Spend more time with God. The more time you spend with God, that will elevate your mood. That will elevate and send you to a higher vibration to be able to cope with whatever is to come. But I inspire you. We didn't come this far. God didn't have us to come this far to give up. I motivate you to stick with God. Stick with what God said you are. Stick with what God says He has for you. Stick with what God is saying for you to do at a time such as this, because God has already told you. But were you listening? Go back to your old, if you wrote journals, and the answers are in your journals. The answers are in what you have written beforehand. Go back and read it. And God has prepared you for a time. Go back and read it. And for those of you that don't write, start to write. And then write for a whole month, write for a whole week, and go back and read what you have written that whole week or that whole 2 weeks. Go back and read it, and God will give you the answer. God would have given you a lot of the answers through you just writing a journal about your feelings and emotions. So I encourage you. I'm praying for you. I love you. I know you got it. I'm talking to spiritual warriors. I'm talking to spiritual beings. I'm talking to powerful people. And just because we got to go through some things that we ain't never been through before, doesn't mean that we're any less than what God said we are. Matter of fact, you're supposed to utilize your gifts, talents, and abilities to get you out of some of this stuff, get you in a good mental state. Use your gifts, talents, and abilities to strategize a plan. Is what you're supposed to be doing, not believing so much the hype. But you're supposed to be believing in you and believing in what God says you are, and utilizing your gifts, talents, and abilities to maximize, to strategize, and to get you into a mental state and a strategy plan that you can walk into and that you can go into, and that can give you a pathway into a better way of thinking, being, and on your way. Pathway. Your pathway could be a pathway to help other people. It might not just be you. You might be your strategy might be what's going to help other people out. But whatever it is, you need to be doing it now. You need to sit down and start writing your strategic plan, or what it is you getting ready to do. This is not the time to be emotional and going through all these things that we as humans would normally do. You have gifts, talents, and abilities that you need to tap into right now, so you can get out of this stuff. So you'll know what your plan is, that with anything jump off, you got a plan. You got a things that you got to do. You know what you getting ready to do. You know what you getting ready to possess. You got this packed away. You got this going on. You got this to eat. You got this. You got a plan. You're just not sitting up in emotions. That's what God is trying to tell you to do. Start to strategize. Get your plan together. Through your gifts, talents, and abilities, God will speak to you, and you can devise a plan that whenever anything jump off, you know you heard from God. It's been sealed, and you know that whatever you wrote down is going to work, because you sat down and you got with God and wrote it down, and wrote the plan down and made it plain, and God made it plain, and God is going to make a way. So with that being said, I'm going to leave that right there. And if this was, if you receive something out of it, emoji. But for the most part, if you got it, and you know, you got anything, or you for this message, you write in the comments, I hear it loud and clear. I hear it loud and clear. I hear it loud and clear. I will write my plan. I hear it loud and clear. I will write my plan. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And let's get it popping. All right, I'm sending you love. I'm sending you healing. And Trinity is